Imagine standing in the stillness of an Egyptian night. The Nile glimmers under moonlight, the desert air heavy with silence. In the shadows of temples and tombs, one goddess waits. She is rarely named in the songs of glory, often hidden beneath the fame of her siblings. Yet without her, death would have no mercy, mourning no voice, and resurrection no chance. This is the story of Nephthys, the forgotten goddess of ancient Egypt, sister of Isis, consort of Set, and the eternal mourner of the dead. Welcome to The Hidden Scrolls, where we focus on history, folklore, and mythology. When we think of Egyptian mythology, certain names immediately rise. Ra, the sun god; Osiris, the king of the afterlife; Isis, the powerful mother goddess. But Nephthys? She lingers in the background, cloaked in mystery. Her name, Het, translates to Lady of the House. But this house is not a simple dwelling. It is the temple, the enclosure, the boundary between the sacred and the profane. From the beginning, Nephthys was tied to the idea of protection, of standing at the edge of existence, the threshold between life and death. Yet she was not merely a silent guardian. Her story is one of tragedy, devotion, betrayal, and redemption, woven into the grand myth of Osiris. Nephthys was born to Geb, the earth god, and Nut, the sky goddess. Alongside her siblings, Osiris, Isis, and Set, she formed one of the most powerful divine families of Egypt. But unlike Isis, who was celebrated as a queen of magic, or Osiris, who ruled with justice, Nephthys was different. She was paired with Set, her brother, a god of chaos, storms, and destruction. Their union was strained, cold, and often loveless. Some myths say they had no children. Others whisper that Nephthys, longing for tenderness, disguised herself as Isis one night and lay with Osiris. From this secret union, some traditions say the falcon-headed god Anubis was born. Whether true or not, this tale paints her as a figure of hidden desire, caught between loyalty and longing, forever living in the margins of her family's greatness. To understand Nephthys, we must revisit the greatest myth of ancient Egypt, the death and resurrection of Osiris. Osiris, king of Egypt, ruled with justice beside his queen, Isis. But Set, driven by jealousy, plotted his brother's downfall. He tricked Osiris into lying inside a beautifully crafted chest, sealed it, and hurled it into the Nile. Later, Set dismembered Osiris's body, scattering the pieces across the land. Now here's where Nephthys emerges from the shadows. Though bound to Set, she did not share his hatred. Instead, she betrayed him by helping Isis search for the remains of Osiris. Together, the sisters wandered the deserts, following whispers of the wind and clues from the gods. When the body of Osiris was finally found, it was Nephthys who stood at Isis's side. The two sisters became mourners, their cries echoing across Egypt. These laments were not ordinary grief. They were magical, ritualistic, powerful enough to stir Osiris's soul. In the funerary rites of Egypt, priests would often take on the roles of Isis and Nephthys, wailing in sacred lamentations to guide the dead. In this way, Nephthys became the eternal mourner, the compassionate voice for all who passed into the afterlife. Without her, Osiris could not have risen. Without her, resurrection itself might have never been possible. Nephthys's role did not end with Osiris. In funerary texts, she appears again and again, standing at the head of coffins, wings outstretched, guarding souls on their journey. She was invoked in tomb inscriptions as a motherly presence, weeping for the deceased as if they were her own child. She represents the night, the cooling desert air, the quiet embrace of the grave. Where Isis symbolized life and magic, Nephthys embodied death's gentler side, the solace, the rest, the mourning that gives meaning to loss. She was not feared but welcomed, for she promised that even in the darkness of death, no soul was forgotten. But Nephthys is not purely gentle. Her marriage to Set tied her to chaos, storms, and violence. In some texts, she is a dangerous goddess, capable of fierce destruction when angered. She was invoked in spells to ward off enemies, her fiery side as protective as her mourning was tender. This dual nature, both comforting and terrifying, mirrors death itself. To the Egyptians, death was not only an ending, but also a threshold. Nephthys embodied this liminal space, standing at the edge, holding back danger while offering comfort. She was the shadow beside Isis's light, the night beside the day. Without her, the balance was incomplete. And yet, despite her importance, Nephthys faded into the background of history. Temples were rarely dedicated to her alone. She was often depicted only beside Isis, like a supporting character in someone else's story. Why? Perhaps because her domains, morning, night, and death, were less glamorous than fertility, kingship, or sunlight. She was a goddess of the margins, of the in-between. And so, over time, her voice grew quieter in the grand chorus of Egyptian religion. But those who mourned, those who feared the long journey of death, they remembered her. In funerary papyri, in the inscriptions on coffins, in the whispers of priests, Nephthys endured. As Egyptian culture shifted and foreign powers came, Nephthys continued to linger in the shadows of mythology. Greek writers compared her to Nyx, the goddess of night. In magical texts, she was invoked as a guardian, her name carrying weight even outside her homeland. Even today, archaeologists uncover tombs where her presence is etched into walls, her wings spread, her arms lifted in eternal lament. Nephthys reminds us that not all power shines with glory. Some power whispers, grieves, and guards in silence. So the next time you hear the tale of Osiris, remember the quiet goddess in the background, the sister who betrayed her own husband to stand for justice, the mourner who gave her voice to the dead, the shadow that makes the light of Isis shine brighter. Nephthys may not have temples filled with worshippers, but her legacy is woven into every prayer for the departed, every ritual of mourning, every hope that death is not the end. She is the silence in the tomb, the night over the Nile, the whisper in the desert winds. I am with you in your grief. I will not let you be forgotten, and that is the story of Nephthys, the shadowed goddess of ancient Egypt. If you enjoyed this story, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with fellow lovers of mythology. Tell me in the comments, which deity should we uncover next? Until then, may the night watch over you, and may Nephthys's wings keep you safe.